Oh, okay. That sounds great.
Yeah, so I'm happy to talk to people about that if they want to give me a call or an email.
Okay. Now, earlier when I was introducing you, we mentioned intuition-enhancing techniques. Can we talk a little bit about that?
We can. What would you like to know?
What is it?
What is it, and how do we get some? Well, I use tarot cards and pendulum and astrology. I teach a one-day tarot class, and by the end of the day, people are reading tarot cards without a book. So it's a real intensive, but the way that I do it, it really puts it into their brains in a great way. And within the courses also, I incorporate tarot and pendulum and some other intuitive sensing skills within those courses. And then there's other tools that are used actually through hypnosis. So I can put a person in trance with hypnosis and actually allow them to be their own psychic. So I can show them through techniques. We can go out into their future. We can go out and see the course that would occur, depending on a certain decision that they might make, that sort of thing. So they can learn how to do that for themselves over time. We do it in the office to begin with, but the more you practice those things, again, you're using those muscles. You're building those skills so that you can do them on your own later on.
That's fascinating. So let me ask you this: future life progression. Progression,
yes.
Progression. Is it real? Is it intuition? Is it what? Do you have any thoughts?
Well, I think that it has the capability of being just as real as past life, because all those lifetimes are sitting out there in a big pool anyway. So whether they're in the future chronologically to us or
right.
past, they are all out there. So as we go into the future, I don't like to go into the future that's too close, because in doing that, you may find that you're in a different lifetime in 10 years from now, and there's all sorts of things that you need to understand about that. So, and a person may not want to know that they're already in a different body in 10 years, especially if you have a family and young children or something. So
sure.
If I do future progressions, I tend to want to go out, say, to 2400 or 2200 or something, and beyond that, rather than 2150 or something like that. So, or 20. Yeah, where are we at now? We're at 2000. Yeah. So rather than 2025, I don't want to go there particularly, because it may be difficult for the person emotionally. But I've had people go into the future, and very successfully so. Now, the issue is that as we're looking into the future, as in the past, we can change that. We can change the future. We can change the past, and that's a whole. That's
the third
study.
Show. Yeah,
we're
sure.
Opening up a lot of portals here.
Yeah.
But and this is very advanced material. So you can change that. Just as we can change the future, we can change the past. And
sure.
I can show you some diagrams to explain that. But
yeah, because it's very malleable and plastic, isn't it?
It is very plastic, and with longer time, I can explain that to you. But in the future, so if let's say we go into the future, and we're in the year 2100, and I see myself, or you see yourself in a particular lifetime, well, then you come back into this lifetime, and now you have an idea about that lifetime. Well, that in itself alters everything that you're going to do. And so because you've altered your path for the next 50 years of this lifetime, that lifetime doesn't really occur the way you see it. Because now, just with that knowledge, you've altered the path.
Right.
So
yeah, that's wild, huh?
It is wild, and at New Physics, the physics people are telling us all about that now. By observing, it changes the reality. Observation changes the reality. It collapses the wave function, if you want to get technical, the wave function of those atoms, those molecules, and it changes the future. That's how we manifest. That's how we do a lot of things for our benefit, but, it comes into play in this very topic as well. So it's a very important question when we're doing psychic readings. When I'm doing tarot card readings, by simply telling that person about that future, I know that I'm actually changing that future for them. So I have to be extremely careful in how I convey the information and whether I convey the information, because if it's a really wonderful future, it may be in all of our best interest not to tell them.
Right.
Because maybe by knowing that, if I say, Tom, tomorrow I know for a fact that you're going to win the lottery, by knowing that, you're going to change what you do. Maybe you change where you buy the ticket, or maybe you go out and splurge on a dinner tonight that you wouldn't have done otherwise. Any little thing, just your energy itself would be different. And by changing that energy, you are now on a different path. And now I can't guarantee that you're going to win that lottery in that quick of a moment. Yeah.
So I just finished up a book myself, and I've got a chapter on 2012 in there.
Okay.
And there's a lot of, there's a lot of doom and gloom on one side of the coin, and then a lot of, ascension and expanded awareness on the other side of the coin. Have you taken anybody, or in your experience, have you gone just 4.5 years in the future here? And did you see anything? I knew it.
And that's the end of our show. Thank you, Tom. We just run out of time. Yes, I have.
Okay, so you're not going to say anything because we don't want to influence it.
Well, the only thing that I'm willing to really say is you're absolutely right. There's going to be negative and there's going to be positive. If somebody looked ahead, in 1959 or 1955 and looked ahead to 2008, they'd say, oh, my God, there's all of these environmental problems. They've got political problems. There's, my God, look at the price of gas. We'll never afford that. Oh, doom and gloom. Look at the wars. My God, kids are getting killed. In fact, from 55 to here, we had Vietnam. We had all sorts of things. So, they would just say, my God, the world is falling apart. And yet they'd look and they'd say, look at the spirituality. Look at the people who are going to alternative medicine, and they're learning how to heal themselves, and they're turning to yoga and purified water and getting out on their bicycles. And there's this whole, push for physical health and wellness, and all the health and wellness spas and all of that. And so they're, from 55, they would wonder if we could manage, being in 2008. And here we are, and we think we're managing just fine, with our same stresses. And in 2015, we're going to have bigger stresses, and we're going to have bigger progress. And if they go hand in hand, you can't have the heads without the tails. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it goes hand in hand. And that's the most I can tell you. But I don't think we need to fear it. I think, the kinds of things that I'm teaching, which is don't go into wishful thinking that, hey, some spirit guide is just going to come in and intervene, or it's all going to be taken care of with wishful thinking. I think we need to exercise our muscles, just like we need to get out and be fit. We need to make our bodies healthy and eat right and exercise. We need to do that with our consciousness and with our choices, with our energy, and we'll be the ones that are perceiving and living on the positive side of that coin, even in the midst of the negativity that'll be going on around us, just as we are right now.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That's wonderful. Loving it.
Yeah, and the more we do that now, the more we exercise our gifts and our positive muscles, the more we do that now, the more we will be changing that very future that we're a little apprehensive about, the more we can change that so that there's even more goodness on the good side, you know? But it starts in this very minute, because each minute is the only minute we can affect that change.
Right, and there's always that thing, you know, without the darkness and without all that chaos and dysfunction, a lot of people wouldn't wake up to the light and the goodness. And, you know, you have to have that contrast. Otherwise, you know, you just sit on the couch all day.
Absolutely. The same thing happened when, you know, with the Twin Towers. It was a horrific experience, but for a moment, for, you know, a day or a week or so, very short window of time, all the countries were supporting each other. All the neighbors were supporting each other. You know, crime dropped. Everything, you know, everybody was just reaching out to each other and trying to help their neighbors. And 2 weeks later, we were just right back to the same stuff.
Yeah.
You know? So it's a matter of hanging on to that and valuing the people in our lives and valuing the wonderful things that we have and promoting that. So
you're also the founder of Awareness Engineering. Very cool name, by the way. What is that all about?
Well, Awareness Engineering, awareness, you know, is our consciousness. So the work that I do is all about expanding awareness, you know, exercising those muscles, and, of course, teaching others to help others to do that. And so when I had to come up with a name for my website as well as my business, I wanted it to, you know, I wanted it to have something to do with consciousness or awareness. And then, you know, which is, to me, a very expansive topic. You know, you say awareness, and I get this kind of billowing clouds of, you know, infinite possibilities. And then the way that I approach the subject, the teaching and the structure of my sessions, even though they're very organic, there's a structure within that organic nature of the sessions and the way that I teach and everything. I thought engineering was a proper term because it is engineering. It's applying a structure and, you know, a positive way to contain and, you know, it's like using an erector set, where, you know, there's all the structure of it, but then it operates, and there's infinite possibilities in the way that it operates. So I just put those terms together, and I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, it's very cool.
And I thought engineering was very masculine, so it took something that was kind of feminine and expansive, and, you know, coupled it with something feeling that more masculine and structured. So that's that.
Okay, so you also have a website at awarenessengineering.com.
Awarenessengineering.com. I have a lot of events. I have a lot of public speaking. If people want to join my newsletter, I send out a newsletter sporadically. It's not all the time, but I update people. I write articles. So all of that is available on the website and through the newsletter, and I'd love to have people sign up for the newsletter and let me know how they're doing, and if they have any questions, send me an email. All
right.
Yeah.
Mary Lee, what a pleasure, absolute pleasure. You're just a wealth of knowledge, and I hope that you will agree to come back very soon, and we can explore some of these other topics that we brought up this evening.
I would be delighted to come back and speak with you again, Tom, and to share any information with your audience that is of interest to them.
That's great. Thank you so much again, and folks, thanks for listening to Myth or Logic Radio. We're here every Thursday night, and next week we've got Eula Jacobs on. She's written a book on the universal laws, so that'll be another interesting show. And this is Tom Murasso from BornToManifest.com. We love you, and we'll see you next week.